Hey, what's going on, guys? Lord MC here again. Um, just quickly wanted to make a video on where I think the market might open up tomorrow, September 28, 2022. Um, I also wanted to share some of my theories of what could possibly happen, but first, let me preface by saying I am not a financial advisor, and this is anything I say is not financial advice. These are my opinions and my opinions only, so come out with your own conclusions. So, having said that, let's jump over here to the SPY 1 day chart here. So today was a really interesting day in the SPY. We had an eventful day. The SPY did close negative 0.26 for the day. It closed at 363.38. It did test here June lows, and it did fall below June lows. June lows here back in June 16 was 362.17, and today it hit 360.87. So that was quite an eventful thing to actually witness. It did close above the June low here that I have here at 362.17. RSI here is oversold, and HSI as well, and AMP RSI, but we still don't have any HSI arrow signaling, hey, this might be reversing. So there's a lot of pressure at that gap fill here that SPY attempted to test today early in the morning. Fortunately, it cannot get above here where at the open it did get as high as 370.40, but it cannot enter this gap fill here between 370 to 374-ish. On the 1 day here, on the 2 day here, if we jump real quick, I wanted to share the bullish shark pattern here where it's still attempting to test hop at 357.77. HSI here is RSI here is still not oversold, as well as HSI and AMP RSI, so we can continue seeing some further movement here to the downside. It is having a hard time breaking anywhere close to like 368 to 370. There are a lot of sellers there, and there's also a lot of buyers trying to step up and hold between this June low. I do see a little bit of continuation to the downside within the next couple of days. Before I share my theories on that, I wanted to hop over to the 1 week to give us an idea where we're at, where they might find levels of support. On the 1 week here, it did fall below the 200 EMA here. The next level of support here on the weekly would be the 200 SMA at 358.20. On the weekly, it still has room to go down, right? RSI is still not oversold, HSI and AMP RSI as well. So could this go low and test this week the 358? That's a level that I do think, I have a level here, I hop at 357.77, where I do think if it falls below that, we can see a cascading effect. Jumping over on the 1 month real quick, it did bounce off the 50 EMA here at 360.90 today, exactly, right? So there is some support there, but if it does fall below that, I think the next level of support on the monthly is this 50 SMA here at 351.62. Being the case, if it does lose 357, we might have some type of support there, but at below 351, it's anybody's game there. I think, do we go back to maybe test 330s and eventually 320s? One of my theories, jumping on the 1 day real quick, is theory one, it would be like a bounce up to get that gap fill. So it would be something like this, bounce up here, and then come back down to test lows again. That's one theory. My second theory that I do have, that it looks like it might play out, but still, the market doesn't care what I think, or anybody for that matter. So one of the theory number 2 is we capitulate, right? Or we make lower lows, definite lower lows than June lows right here, because this is still not this is still not, it did close lower, but I would like to see more of a decline here to actually have a lower low. So one of my my theories here is that if I, like I said, if we lose 357, then we probably will test low 350s. And I think that would come back to, let's say, if it closes around 350 somewhere right here, that's definitely creating the lower lows, where I think it could take Wednesday and Thursday for that movement. That movement would take about maybe, let's see here, about a 3.5% decline from today's close. So that it could be possible. I do think that creating that lower low would be eventually trap bears if on Friday we do get PCE data that comes out bullish. But that's one scenario that can happen. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but if PCE data is a little bit bullish, we can probably trap bears, create new lower lows, trap bears, thinking, hey, this is gonna keep continuing going down, and then PCE data comes out, and then we start moving to the upside. But quickly, I wanted to share something on the weekly, where that's one theory, right? But something here that's interesting. If I take here a trend line here and I copy this, put this here for a second, complete here. So this is looking like it's forming an ABCD pattern. So A, B, from here would be C, B to C, and then, like I said, A, B, C, D patterns have to be equidistant to each other. So I copied this from right here to create this leg from C to D. So this is interesting that it's potentially creating an ABCD pattern where the low here would be at 332. That's some level also where people are calling out that the SPY could hit 330s, which would coincidentally almost be kind of the close where the peak before the COVID lockdown happened. Judging from just even RSI, HSI, and AMP RSI, there is still so much more room for it to go to the downside, right? MACD over here did turn bearish here for the past 2 weeks. So if we are going to continue seeing that type of capitulation here, it would take more than just this week and next week, possibly maybe 2 to 3 weeks if that was to play out. So I am going to draw here an ABCD pattern, potential ABCD pattern, just to see and track if that happens here. So 332 somewhere on there would be the ABCD pattern. So jumping over to the triple Qs. The triple Qs also finished basically almost the same close as yesterday. It did have a negative 0.04% for the day. It closed at 274.48. It hasn't created lower lows yet from the June lows. I do have this trend line here at 274.48. If it loses that, it will probably test here back at 268.10. There is resistance here at on the upside. If you're trying to play the triple Qs to the upside, there is resistance at 280, and as well as the A90 MA at 282, and there's also support here at around 271. Where if we do lose 271, we can continue coming back down to the downside below 270. If you look at the 2-day chart here, we are testing here the hop here at 273.37, where we kind of bounced off. But on the 3-day chart here, it's also approaching levels here where critical levels, or if we do lose this, we could potentially see further downside. So that's something we need to watch out here. It did test the 1 week 200 SMA here, so it would be interesting to see what the triple Qs does tomorrow. Jumping over to the Dow Jones, going over to the 1-day chart. The Dow Jones did close and make lower lows from June, right? So it had today a negative 0.5% for the day, closed at 291.30. Something that is interesting here, there is a gap down here between 284 and 289, and we're currently at 291.30. So RSI is telling us that it is oversold, and HSI as well as AMP RSI, but we have no confirmation here of an HSI arrow, right, turning green here. So could this potentially keep going down? Sure. Judging by the way it closed, it could first probably continue making lower lows before a bounce here. The Dow Jones has resistance here at 297, this gap fill 297 and 300, but before that it does have a resistance at 293 and 298, which it came up in the morning. It tested 296, but it has failed that. So Dow Jones is going to be interesting to see if it creates lower lows. It's not that far off from this descending broad knee wedge. It's about 5%, almost call it 5.8%, 5.10% for it to touch the descending broad knee wedge of that. So jumping over to the 1 week real quick, it did fall below the 200 SMA here with strong downside. So there's a strong close here on the weekly. The weekly is still above RSI here, HSI as well, and AMP RSI. So that's going to be interesting to see what that does. Jumping over to the VIX real quick. The VIX did on the daily here, did close at 32.59. So it's 2 days in a row that are already closed above 300. Market is bearish above 30. So if VIX continues to push up here, I do have this trend line here at 35.03, where I do believe if we get some more fear in the market, it could quickly touch that and possibly even the 40s. So that's something to be mindful of. So market is bearish above 30 when VIX is above 30, and below 24 VIX could be a little bit more bullish. But at this point, I don't see any indication that the VIX is slowing down. Jumping over to Apple real quick. Apple is holding up the market here. It's closed today at a plus 0.66% on a red candle. So it did close higher than yesterday's high. It still hasn't have this trend line here at 148.05, where I do think that if we lose that, we can see that cascading effect at 134.41. It is still not anywhere close of RSI being oversold. The same as HSI and AMP RSI. So what is interesting here again is I'm going to turn off these EMAs here real quick. It looks like Apple is trying to push here to have a death cross, but it's so close, right? But in order for that a golden cross, this is the 50 EMA, and this is the red line is 200 SMA. So again, the yellow is the 50 SMA, and the red line is the 200 SMA. So when the 50 crosses to the upside over the 200, that's what's considered a golden cross. But in order for it to be a golden cross, candles have to be closed above both of these SMAs, and it's currently not. So it's looking like it's curling down. It doesn't want that to happen here. But what's interesting here, if we turn on the EMAs, the EMAs is also approaching here. The EMAs here is the 50, EMA is the blue, and the 200 SMA, EMA is the green. So this one's coming down while the SMAs look some type of bullish, but it's not bullish until candles close above. So what's interesting, if you switch it to the 2-day again, the 2-day here, the SMA is the 50 SMA is crossing to the downside of the 200 SMA for a death cross. So which one's going to happen first? It's only time will tell. But Apple is holding strong, not kind of strong, but I guess it's holding up at this level of between 150 and 151, where it's been staying around that range, right? I do believe if it falls below 150 and it does come down to test 148, we can have that cascading effect. But we'll see with that. This is the only thing that's holding up the market right now. As Microsoft and other tech stocks have already tested their June lows, Apple is still holding up above kind of strong. So it'll be interesting to see what that's going to do. the next couple of days. If I do believe if Apple starts falling down, it's going to take the market with them. So we will see what that does. Jumping over to real quick to the U.S. dollar, the Dixie here on the 1 day is just continues to keep going up. Right now is at 114.62, and it's completely overbought. Jumping over to the weekly real quick, see if it's completely overbought in basically all time frames. Could this go even higher? I don't know. If the market decides to continue pushing down, this could go a lot higher, but the dollar is going pretty parabolic right now, so keep an eye out on that. Jumping over to the US 2-year, so the US 2-year did test around 4 last couple of days, around 4.3. It's currently right now at 4.29. As well as overbought, sorry, and on all major time frames. I do believe with more continuation here, this could potentially touch 5% here. So that's something we still got to watch out for. So if this continues to push to the 5% here on the US 2-year, we could possibly see some type of capitulation in the market if it wants to do that. So that will be interesting to see. The 10-year is approaching here at 4%. It's currently up 1.19%. So yeah, this is approaching a level here. This is actually pretty important right now where we're currently at. It's literally at almost 0.006% from it touching 4% here. So this is going to be interesting next couple of days. Jumping over back to the SPY here. I'm going to turn this off real quick, this ABCD pattern. So for tomorrow, I do see still continuation, maybe some sideways trading, or if we do want to create new lower lows before PCE data. If PCE data comes out bearish, I do think the market is going to come hard down. So Friday is going to be an important day to see what that does. So I forgot what I wanted to share here on the SPY. I think it was oh, that's right. So on the 1 day here, shout out to a professor who told me that there was a gap down here at between 358.88 and 359. So if we do want to create a lower low here, this would also be that range where let's see, I think it's the weekly. The monthly. Forget what day it is. But 358 would be also where I think, yeah, it is the weekly. Yeah, so the gap fill would be kind of close to where the weekly 200 SMA is, which is coincidentally something to consider here, that if we do create, maybe this would be the new low of that falls below June lows. So I do think that if we get that gap fill, we're not that far away. We're a couple dollars, right? We're about $4 away. If we do lose 358 and 357, we do see that, in my opinion, that knifing down effect here in the market. So the next couple of days is going to be interesting up until Friday. So having said that, that's all I have for you guys. If you like this content, please consider giving me a like and subscribing to the channel. Tomorrow, unfortunately, I won't be able to be on. Have some things to take care of, but hope you guys know your levels, know both sides, know your bullish case, know your bearish case, and sometimes it's better just to sit on the sidelines, right, until we have confirmation of where the market is going. There's a lot of things right now that are at critical levels, guys, so please pay attention and just have a lot of risk management right now. So having said that, see you guys hopefully on Thursday, and good luck tomorrow.